Hey everyone, I wanted to do this video as I take a stroll through, well, my property. We sold it, so I guess it's not going to be our property here soon, but wanted to do the video to share with you what I look forward to on the Appalachian Trail and what I fear on the Appalachian Trail. Now I'll start with the fears, because first of all, a lot of people, they think I'm not afraid of anything when I'm on the trail, because every time they ask me, are you afraid of this, or are you afraid of that? Usually my answer is no. You know, because I'm getting questions like, are you afraid of getting hacked up on the trail by a bunch of, backwoods people? Nope, not afraid of that. Am I afraid of getting eaten by a bear? Nope, not afraid of that. In fact, when it comes to getting hacked up and murdered, I think I've got a higher chance of that happening in town than I do out on the trail. So, so not having that fear, I guess, is pretty rational. As far as not being afraid of being eaten up by a bear, well, for those who know me, know I had this nice little experience when I was working out at Yellowstone National Park. And I had gone for, I wouldn't say I'd gone for a hike. I went for a series of hikes, shall we say. I decided I wanted to do some of the shorter trails, around the park. And so kind of drive to this trail that's only a mile long, hike that, then drive over to this trail that's a mile long, hike that, and kind of, knock out a bunch of the short trails in one day. And, wasn't going to be my last trail of the day, but it actually ended up being my last trail of the day. I'd done roughly 9 miles altogether, was hiking a little trail, and I decided I was going to take a little break, and let me change the angle, that arm's getting sore. So I took a little break where I had myself a seat on the side of the trail. And it was kind of, the trail, and right across the trail was the woods. And I was kind of in a clearing, and behind me, I'd say about 50, 60 feet was the other woods. And so I was just sitting there. I had been coughing, so I knew any animal in the area was well aware that there is a human there. It's an area that's where there's a lot of bison anyway, so there weren't any at that time, but it was kind of, I wasn't expecting what to occur what occurred. And as I'm sitting there, all of a sudden, let me grab a seat here as I explain it. All of a sudden I heard like a noise back in the woods kind of behind me, and so I kind of, turned back and I look, and out comes a full-grown adult grizzly bear. Luckily, I had already used the restroom, so I didn't crap myself at that point. It kind of looked at me, and I just kind of sat there calmly and did, little coughs and talked gently to make sure it knew that I wasn't gonna hurt it and it's fine. And so it kind of just looked at me, and then like, oh well, darn humans in my way, I gotta go around. So it kind of veered around. I'd say the closest it got was between 25-30 feet, and that was off over in this direction from me. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, wow, this is cool, Of course, I didn't want to run because, well, that's what its food does, and I don't want to look like it's food. I didn't want it to confuse me for an elk. And then as I'm sitting there, just, about 30 seconds, 40 seconds later, it seemed like an eternity because there's a freaking bear right by me, I hear another rustle in the woods behind me. It's like, okay, what the heck could this be? And, and so I kind of peer back, and out comes a cub. Now, anyone who knows of that situation knows that's not good. That adult was not a guy was not a male bear that I thought it was. It was actually Mama Bear, and her cub was in the woods yet. The cub kind of ignored me. I don't know if it didn't see me or recognize me, and it kind of started walking toward its mama, and got about halfway there, and then all of a sudden it stops and looks at me like, wow, I just discovered a new animal. It kind of stared me down a little, and I just kind of ignored it as much as I could. I didn't want to eyeball it because then, I didn't want to tick off mama. And then the cub charges. Again, luckily I had already used the restroom, so I didn't crap myself either at that point. It stopped about 15 feet away from me. I mean, I could smell it, and so I'm sitting there thinking, of course, that little bear, I could kick its butt. Unfortunately, its mama would have me for dinner afterwards if I tried it. So, so I just kind of sat there, waiting for it all to end. I wouldn't say I was afraid, but I was definitely awestruck. That was like awesome. It's like, this is cool. I'm going to get killed by a little baby bear, But eventually the bear kind of did some huffing puffing and went back to its mama, and then they just kind of ended up going across the trail and meandering into the woods, and I figured I'd had enough adventure for that day. So anyway, as far as being afraid of being eaten by a bear, well, first of all, I think I was close enough to mama that mama bear that we might be married or something. So she's got my back if any other bear tries to attack me. But no, in all seriousness, I'm not really afraid of the bears or the snakes or any of the other wild animals out there, primarily because when it comes to the wild animals, it's all about respecting boundaries, respecting their personal space, and as long as you do that, you're relatively safe. So my answer, am I afraid of getting eaten by a bear? No, I'm not. Been there, done that, And so that's not one of my fears. But talking about what are my fears, because everyone says, well, if you're not afraid of that, you're not afraid of that, and you're not afraid of anything on the trail, then you're not being realistic about it. Well, there are things I fear on the trail. And first and foremost, I fear not being able to complete the trail. That's probably my biggest fear, because it took me 4 years to finally be able to do this trail. And, I don't know if I'll ever get another shot at it again. I don't know if I'll, if I'm not successful this time, that's pretty much it. It's over, So that's probably my number one fear, is not being able to finish. And the great thing about having that fear, because you can't fear fear, but the great thing about having that fear is that's what's going to keep me going. Me knowing that if it's a rough day and I'm feeling like giving up, that I can sit there and think, hey, you know what, this is the only shot you got. Don't give up on it, And so I'd say that's my number one fear, is not being able to complete it. As far as minor fears, of course, there's always a fear that, what if I screw up on a resupply and don't get enough food, or what if I, don't get enough water? Most of that is kind of, well, then I got to deal with it, So I've also got a minor fear. I have hearing loss in one ear. And so it's not really a fear, but it's a worry I have that there might be a time when I'm going to be walking on the trail and all of a sudden I'm going to hear a rattlesnake and I'm going to freeze and not know which way to jump, because with hearing loss, my right ear doesn't work, and with that hearing loss, I'm not going to know exactly which direction the rattlesnake is based upon hearing alone. I'd have to see it first. So I guess that's kind of a fear. Also, you can say I fear sleeping with myself when I stink, because I'm going to be hiking, I'm going to be sweating, I'm going to be getting really nasty without regular showers, and then I got to crawl into that sleeping bag and sleep with my own stench. It's going to be hard sometimes. But again, something I just got to kind of deal with and learn to live with. So I guess you might say those are my major fears. You know, I do have other fears which are kind of irrational, which, you know, I think everyone does. Kind of a what if something happens back home, which, I mean, it could. You know, I don't foresee it, but it could, and, you know, who knows. Or what if, irrational fears, I was saying, what if I end up hiking all by myself through some of the deepest wilderness? And, you know, of course, anyone who's hiked the trail knows, okay, you're an idiot if you're worried about that, but, you know, it's always in the back of the mind. You know, there's always people on the trail, so I'm never really alone, so I'm not really afraid of being alone, because I won't be, you know. I might maybe on occasion spend a solitary night in a shelter or something like that, but, you know, I highly doubt there's going to be a day that goes by where I don't see someone else, or multiple people, in fact. So that's kind of my fears. Now, what do I look forward to? Wow. You know, I've followed so many people on the trail on YouTube. Wow, can I even name them all? Let's see, I followed Loner, I followed Redbeard, I followed Snorlax, Joe Brewer, or Apache. I followed Dixie, or Homemade Wanderlust. I followed Gator Miller, I followed Nemore, I followed Sam I Am, I followed Ryan, Crystal, and Mike. Wow. Needless to say, I followed. If you've got a YouTube channel out there with AT videos, I probably followed you. And so some of the things that I look forward to is seeing in person a lot of those sites, a lot of those overlooks, you know, and just experiencing the trail and the triumphs of making certain key points that I recognize on the trail, you know, kind of getting to Fontana Dam and be like, yeah, I remember this from the videos, you know, this is awesome, you know, and stuff like that. So I look forward to that. I look forward to the great workout regimen, I guess, is another great thing I'm really looking forward to, because I know I'm going to lose a lot of weight on that trail. Maybe I'll do a before and after video, but that won't be till way later on. Picture myself before the trail and after the trail, just so everyone can see how much weight I lose. I'm looking forward to the freedom, you know, being able to I wake up when I'm awake, and then I walk the trail. I walk as far as I feel like. You know, when I'm hungry, I eat. I'm thirsty, I'm tired, and kind of just the freedom to take care of myself and kind of treating myself to be the main beneficiary of my life. I also look forward to Virginia. That's another, I know that's an oddity for some, but because I always talk about getting the Virginia blues, you know, because Virginia's 1/4 of the trail is in Virginia, and people kind of get, you know, gone so far and you still haven't hit another state, and they get what's called the Virginia blues. But the great thing is, you know, I actually went briefly to school not far from the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I used to love going up there. Wow, it's beautiful. You know, whenever I was stressed out or, you know, felt overwhelmed at school, I could just go on up there and sit at an overlook. And I did see the Appalachian Trail. I never hiked it. I remember thinking once, hey, I should go walk that trail a little bit one time, but you know, never anything serious, never anything that went to fruition. Little did I know then that I'd be hiking it now, you know, several years later. So I'm looking forward to that area of Virginia, the Blue Ridge Parkway, because I really love that area. And like I said, that's a great thing to look forward to, because that's about when the Virginia blues are setting in. And so instead of getting the blues, I'm going to be like, yes, I'm where I wanted to be. You know, I'm looking forward to Shenandoah, and I'm also looking forward to the Smokies and the White Mountains up north. Wow. I just can't wait to get there. You know, so I'm also looking forward to meeting new people, new friends, people with similar interests, such as hiking, because there's not a lot of hikers around where I live. Everyone thinks I'm nuts for hiking the Appalachian Trail, and it's like you go to other places close to the trail, and it's like, why haven't you hiked the Appalachian Trail? You're nuts if you don't. So, just meeting people who have the same interests, have the same things we like, let's see, so that's pretty much it. That's what I fear, that's what I look forward to, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I also wanted to touch a little bit on my question and answer videos. Haven't gotten a lot of questions on YouTube. I got one on Facebook. I did get a few that people asked me individually, as well as some that were emailed to me. What's going to end up happening is the question and answer video is going to be relatively short, I think. And then I'm going to do two others that kind of branch off from there, because one of the questions I received was about when I mentioned my hygiene / first aid bag. A couple of people wanted to know what I'm having in that, so I'm going to do kind of a sub gear video sort of on what I have in there. And then another person had asked a very good question that I felt was worthy of its own video, so I'm going to do a separate video on that, so you guys can look forward to all those. Anyway, I'll get those out as soon as I can. Oh, and for those who are wondering where I'm at, this is my property that we're selling, and it's pretty much been bought. We just have to do the closing on it, and so I'm going to miss this place, miss walking in it, but probably one of the last walks I'll do in it, in fact. So that's that. Here's a little view, by the way. I'll film a little bit as I hike back. Till I get back into the woods here, where I gotta turn and follow the trail back home. Anyway, that's about it for now, and I look forward to having you all continue to follow me, and I'll check with you all later. Bye. And here's where I go back into the woods.